Now, the DUP MP Sammy Willson has stood down from one of his roles in Parliament. He has been what's known as the DUP's chief whip, and no reason has been given for why he's quitted. But we know he has voiced strong opposition to the deal which saw a return to power sharing at Stormont. Here's our political correspondent, Gareth Gordon.
Sammy Willson tends not to hide his feelings, and certainly not about the deal which saw his party head back into Stormont.
The government still reserves a right to introduce laws which will interfere with trade in Northern Ireland and to put those laws in the statute book.
Well, I would urge the honourable member for East Antrim to read all of the proposals.
Divisions were on open display in the House of Commons, and now it's been revealed the East Antrim MP has stepped down as the DUP's chief whip at Westminster, though he remains a party officer.
I wasn't expecting it, but on reflection I'm not at all surprised, because how could he conceivably be enforcing the party discipline when there's such an obvious difference between what he's saying about the deal and what Sir Geoffrey Donaldson and the other senior people in the DUP are saying?
Perhaps Sir Geoffrey Donaldson won't be that surprised either.
Maybe not. I mean, it does suggest that Sammy Willson is going to continue this fight from within the party. But it does show that what had looked for a while like there was virtually no opposition isn't the case, and there are a number of senior people in the party who are clearly very unhappy with the deal.
Other DUP grandees known to be unhappy include the former Deputy Leader Lord Dodds and Lord Morrow, but the leadership will hope that the longer the party is back in Stormont, the more opposition can be contained. So far the DUP has not commented on Sammy Willson's move. No doubt this is something the DUP leader could have done without, but he'll also know it could have been worse. Gareth Gordon, BBC Newsline, Stormont.
A personal phone call to apologise was made by the Chief Constable to Colm Eastwood over how police handled their investigation into an unnotified procession in Derry. Last summer, the SDLP leader walked with Bloody Sunday families to a court in the city for a hearing about an ex-soldier accused of murder. Now, yesterday, the Public Prosecution Service said it will not prosecute anyone in that group. But for more on the latest developments, here's Michael Fitzpatrick.
The SDLP leader Colm Eastwood walked with relatives of some of the Bloody Sunday victims to Bishop Street Courthouse last August for a court hearing involving Soldier F. The police began an investigation and submitted a file to the PPS in January, reporting 7 people, including Mr Eastwood, in relation to a procession. Yesterday, the PPS said there was evidence to justify a prosecution, but it wasn't in the public interest to do so. Mr Eastwood, who described the police investigation as a farce, said the PPS decision was the right one. Today, the SDLP leader said the Chief Constable had apologised to him after he was asked to attend a police station in Derry in December.
I spoke to the Chief Constable over the weekend after it happened. And look,
did the Chief Constable apologise to you?
He did, but they should do it publicly, and it's not about me because I'm a public representative.
Was that in January?
I think it was on the Saturday or the Sunday after the Friday where it was supposed to happen. So, look, but that's not what it's about. This is about family members who shouldn't have to even think about this sort of stuff.
The DUP MLA Gary Middleton said the decision by the PPS raised questions about consistency. The brother of a man killed on Bloody Sunday, who was among those who the PPS decided not to prosecute, said he feels let down by the PSNI.
I think the police should make an apology to the families for what we've been through and how they dealt with it. I think it was very poorly dealt with, and we'll wait to see if the apology is made.
The PSNI was asked to respond to Colm Eastwood's comments that he'd received an apology from the Chief Constable over the police's investigation last year. In a statement, the PSNI said that this was a private conversation between the Chief Constable and Mr Eastwood in December 2023. Michael Fitzpatrick, BBC Newsline.